Welcome back to Phoenix Forge. So today on our essential skills lesson we're going to do Wolf Jaw Tongs. Now Wolf Jaw Tongs, these are my number one on my top 5 tongs list. Check out that video if you haven't done so already. And as they're my number one pair of tongs and we use them all the time here in the workshop, we thought why not rustle you up a pair so you can make your own at home. So to start with, I've got 250mm of 20mm square bar. And we'll get this warmed up and forge out a pair of these. Now my bar's warming up nicely. What I want to do first is isolate some stock on the end that I later use to make some nibs. We're going to do these slightly differently to how I did flat bit tongs in my previous video. Check that out in the link. So I'm going to grab the other one that's warming up and we're going to isolate this using a fuller. Okay. Up. Good. Right, that was in with a nice tight grab. Now I'm going to widen it up slightly with a slightly bigger foot. Okay. Up. Good. Let's go in slightly deeper for the bigger one. Okay. So we've isolated some stock that we'll later use to form the nib. This little indent that we've done with a fuller, that's also going to be part of the nibs, and the portion behind is going to forge our hinge plate. Okay, so next up I've got to dress in this swelling. There we go. And then it's time for doing the set down for the hinge plate. So I'm going to go slightly further forward, about there. In at 45 degrees, and slowly drop my angle. Okay, so let's take that set down deeper. Straighten everything up a little. Now what I can do is come back in here with a sledge and tighten this radius up. So Kristen, if you grab a sledge. Up. Good, that's better. So I'm going to tidy up that set down under the power hammer, and then we're going to do one more set down for the hinge plate, and we'll draw the rest out under the power hammer. Just tidy up that set down by hand a little. So I've isolated the stock for the nib. I've also forged in the hinge plate ready, and we've started on the reins. What it's time to do now is obviously spin them round. I've left this section at the end 20 square so I can carry on using the same pair of tongs. So I can spin them round, chuck them back in the fire, and I can draw out these reins under the power hammer. Now if you haven't got a power hammer, don't worry. I showed you how to swing a sledgehammer last week in last week's lesson. So get your Smith & Striker and forge that out to length. Remember guys, if you haven't done so already, click that subscribe button, that notification tab as well, and you'll get our latest updates on our newest videos. Typically there's one going out every single Wednesday and a little fun one on a Friday as well, and occasionally you'll get a vlog on a Monday as well. So remember, click like. Within 10mm, that's not bad going considering I didn't use any power hammer blocks. I can live with that. Right, so I've quenched that one off. Time to quench off the reins on this one. And then we can spin them around and we go back to the business end. Right, well these have cooled down nicely. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to forge a slight taper on the end on this little lump of 20 square that I left. I'm going to forge it down to 20x8 on the end. And then I'm going to move back to doing the hinge plate. I don't want to distort my hinge plate and punch holes by faffing about the power hammer. Okay, so let's upset this hinge plate. Okay, let's punch a hole in the middle of the hinge plate. I'm using my hammer to line it up. All the way down until you get the resistance, find the shadow. Open you. And punch the hinge plate. Okay, let's drift this out. 10mm drift. So we forged out a pair of tongs. This is the blank ready to go. What we've got to do next is refine those jaws. So what I'm going to do is take a couple of different fullers and we're going to drive a line up the centre, and then we're going to put two lines running the other way, our different radiuses to hold different size round bar. One, 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 one more. Good, so we've got a nice parallel line running up the centre. And again, one more. And I'm going to throw that fuller on the floor, because of course. And we'll come one in there. Good, right, I'm going to take the same fuller again, and I'm going to split the difference halfway back. One. And again, and again, and again. Okay. Yeah. One more. Okay, so we'll find that one that runs parallel. Okay, so we're just going to tidy up this last one. Okay, and again, up. Good. Which one was that? That's the skinny one. The rest look alright actually. Pretty happy with that. That looks pretty nice. Okay, time for some rivets. Now, I cannot be bothered today to forge a 10mm rivet because I've got 1,000 of these in a box in a cupboard. So, using 10mm rivets. Now, hot rivets, you typically need twice the diameter to fill a head and give you a nice dome head rivet. So, I'm going to put them through both halves of my tongs, mark up 20mm, chop it off with a grinder, and then we'll rivet this thing up. Now this rivet snap we made a couple of weeks ago. If you want to see that video, check it out in the link above. Oh yeah, riveting time. So I'm going to be lazy, I'm going to use a gas torch. Let's go on. If you haven't got a gas torch, you can of course do this in the forge. It's just a little bit more on the fiddly side. Right, remember Kristen, to push down, open those tongs up a little wider please, thank you. If you're using a gas torch to do your tongs, you don't want to be heating from the top, not initially anyway. Because otherwise you'll just dish the head and it won't actually bite sufficiently down the bottom. Now inevitably, now this vice is a little bit high for me, so my hammer isn't coming down square. So I just have to adjust my body position to centre that rivet again. Now this time I'm going to run around the edge. And that's in preparation for my rivet snap. So this time I can get everything set up. Good bit of heat in there. I'm going to have to drop the gas torch and then come in with my rivet snap. Now the other way to do this, of course, is to use the hydraulic press or the fly press, which is great if you're going to do 20 pairs of tongs. But as we're only making the one set today, I can't be bothered with it. Get your rivet snap right way up. rotate the snap. Whoop. A bit of extra material there. Ooh, now, I had a little bit too much metal there. I would say that this 10mm snap is not for this actual brand of 10mm rivets that I've got. So my 20mm actually gave me a little bit extra. It's given me a little bit of a flashing on the bottom. It's not the end of the world. They'll still function perfectly well. It's just not quite so pretty on that side. Don't worry folks, we'll take the photos from the other side of the pair of tongs. So the last thing to do with my tongs is just take one final heat, make sure the jaws are all fully lined up, make sure the nibs, the rivet and the reins are all in alignment, and then give it a wire brush. The job will be a good one. Days. Happy days indeed. They work a treat. Well, there we go guys, the finished pair of Wolf Jaw Tongs. I am pretty chuffed with how they turned out. They're a nice looking pair of tongs if I do say so myself. And they will last me for the rest of my life, most likely, and on to the next smith who comes to use them. So it's worth taking the time when you're making tools up that you're going to go on using, especially things like tongs and hammers and all those. Take the time, make sure they're right. I hope you guys found this video informative. If you haven't done so already, remember to click subscribe, hit the notification tab as well for the latest updates on our videos. If you want to see more videos like this one, more instructional stuff, let us know what sort of things you'd like to see in the comment section below. You can always help to support the channel as well through Patreon, and we hope to see you here next time in the workshop. Cheers guys!